All right, I was talking to Angie today about, she's got a hypothesis on why Sasquatch have the color eye glow that they have. There's something flopping around out there. But I think she's going to share it at the Molina Festival. But anyway, we got to talking about infrared. Now, I personally do not think these creatures can see the infrared. Depends on what, humans can see infrared, depending on what wavelength it's in. That's why, like, when you buy cameras, it'll say no glow infrared, because some of them you can see, some of them you can't. But the whole hypothesis that Sasquatch avoid cameras because of the infrared, I think, is flawed. And I'll tell you why. A lot of them have passive infrared. What that means is, imagine it's got a sensor, right, on the camera. And that sensor is actually sensing infrared light. It's actually taking light into the camera. And that light makes a picture on that sensor. And when nothing's moving, that picture is still. Well, when something moves in front of it or changes the light at all that is going into the sensor on the camera, and it changes that picture, that's what triggers it. If it happens at night, yes, you get an infrared flash or an infrared light that stays on as long as the video is recording. So you have to know what type of camera you have. Does it have a passive infrared or active infrared? Active infrared, I believe, does shoot an infrared beam out. Something breaks that beam, then it sets the camera off. But I think that's for more expensive models. Your basic cameras just have a passive infrared system. Now, you could say that maybe the camera is getting set off at night by something and then they're seeing the flash. I think it's very simple. I think these creatures are very smart. And they're out in the middle of the woods and they see a plastic box that they know a human put on the side of the tree. They know it's probably a good idea to avoid it. That, and it's got a big eyeball in the front of it. So I think that's more likely than anything else. On top of that, about, 75% of the stuff I've recorded at night has been with an iPhone. When I go behind my house and I've been sitting in that area, I'm wearing a GoPro, but I also take my iPhone, I start recording and I set it down next to me. So it's recording out in front of me. Well, I put my PTZ camera on top of my porch the other day, and I've got it recording out there. And I'll show you what it looks like when someone is recording a video at night with an iPhone. You are basically a wall of infrared lasers. So one of two things: either, I believe, if they can see it, it doesn't bother them, or they can't see it at all. And it's a good hypothesis, and I understand why people think that way. But I honestly do think we need more testing. And it's like everything else out there that's gospel. Guns, feeding them, infrared lights, all these things. You've got some people that say, all right, this is the way it is with this certain situation. And then you can turn around and find just as many stories saying, yeah, that's not what I experienced. So when you hear these things that are considered gospel in the community, think of it as a hypothesis. I'm saying, even with stuff I'm saying right now, I don't know whether they can or cannot see it, but I'm definitely not convinced. We actually Hank tested his trail cameras last time we were at the Happy Place. They do not have infrared coming out of them until you set them off. So, you know, stuff you can test yourself. Just before you buy a camera, if you're worried about the infrared, figure out what type of sensor it has on it. But here's the video.